AfterBuzzers. What a big night it is on A Million Little Things. We finally find out who's pregnant. Stick around, let's chat about it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Oh, it's so sweet.
I know it is. I'm sorry.
I like Sophie's version of this song better, I think.
Sophie's version
It's like I
too.
want to hear Sophie. That's probably why. Like I'm rather hear.
That was beautiful.
Although I'm not
was.
mad at a little Kermit throwback. A little Kermit throwback never hurts
hurt
anybody.
anybody.
That's
Right. You're right.
Oh, what's up, guys? We are back in the AfterBuzz studios to talk about A Million Little Things and all the craziness that is happening on this show now, which is so exciting and really getting to some good, juicy middle part of this season. I am your host, Laura Thomas Sonn, and I got a group of lovely ladies tonight. Hi, Miss Maggie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maggie Clark. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm Yasmine Tanres. Thank you for having me as well.
And hey guys, I'm Alexandria.
So Yasmine is joining our panel. We had to say goodbye to Miss Takira because she is joining another show, but we got Yasmine back, who you may have seen on our show a couple weeks ago. So
Yay, welcome.
Thank you.
I am so happy to be back. Like, I've been dying to talk about this show.
Right.
Nobody else to talk to about this.
she is
Besides, obviously, on YouTube.
100% a super fan, which is what we love and adore around here. So we are in good company with you, Miss Yasmine. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Oh, guys, we have obviously the pregnancy confirmation that came into play. We've got a big theme of parenting and kids and sort of what that relationship looks like in this episode. And then we've got some drama going on with Gary and Maggie and a little bit of decision making on both of their parts, really. Guys, overall, give me your thoughts on episode 5. Episode 5. What are you guys thinking? I mean, I feel like we've kind of wrapped up the drama of the affair, and then we get hit with this bombshell. So I don't know. Take it away. Let me know what you thought, Tay.
A very, very heartbreaking episode to me. Like I said, you took away all the drama, but then you have Gary and Maggie with their emotional. They made me so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eddie and Katherine not wanting to fight for her marriage, which I have a really big problem with. And Delilah's pregnant.
Oh,
my gosh.
How many of you guys thought it was Sophie? Because I know Takira did, and a lot of our fans did too.
I did last week. I had my prediction was that it was Sophie.
I
And
thought
the
it was
minute that
Maggie.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you know what?
yeah.
There was somebody that said in the comments that they thought, I can't remember exactly who it was, but I'll go back and look so I can give you some proper street cred. But there was somebody that said in the comments that they thought that might be too heavy of a storyline for one person.
That's true.
And the idea of like facing terminal cancer and a pregnancy kind of just feels really daunting, I think, for the writers. So I'm glad that they steered us more in this Delilah direction because I think that's a little bit of a juicier choice. But I did think it was Sophie, especially when she came down, like bounding down the stairs, like in the first 2 seconds of the show, and she was all in a mood. I was like, yep.
You were like, oh,
see?
she's pregnant.
I was like, I've seen that look
She's like, I already know.
I know exactly how
As soon as.
Yasmine, what do you think about that episode?
Honestly, I mean, I agree. I felt like this episode was so exciting because the last episode I did feel like was a bit of a sort of platonic, kind of nice, everybody kind of got together again after the news came out about the affair. Now, this was more of a wave in this episode. Mm-hmm. So you had your ups and downs where there was hope between like Gary and Maggie, but then she's trying to push him away and, of course, not wanting to fight the cancer. And then the relationship between Katherine and Eddie, there was, again, hope. But then in the end, we'll see, no, she doesn't really want to work on it. So, and then ultimately Delilah's pregnancy. When you made that prediction last week, I was like, that's a real good prediction. That would be really exciting if that happened. And it did.
Yeah.
I'm actually so happy that I shouldn't be happy. Actually, I really should not be happy. I'm sorry. It's just the thrill, like.
So here's the
show.
thing. I mean, here's the thing, too, and I was thinking about this a lot this week. The good thing, while we're dealing with a lot of really heavy subject matter in this show, we're dealing with it with fictional characters, which I think is one of the, and we tune in each week because hopefully to feel something and hopefully to learn something. And what I have to remind myself when I find myself getting caught up in the sort of drama of the storyline is that is why we tune in, to a fictional story like this, is because it's a little bit of an escape in some ways, or a little bit of in some ways I feel like it's an escape, and in some ways I feel like it's a really great slice of life that's super relatable and for a lot of people. So I just want to kind of put that out there because I think sometimes these topics can be really sensitive to talk about. And I love just being able to look at it through the lens of this fictional story with these fictional characters. So that was just a little PSA that I wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's
I agree.
It's so
right
that's
there.
a really good reminder.
Yeah.
It's a great reminder with any show that we might be watching on TV that we get so wrapped up in these lives and these characters because we really get to know them. But it's so important to remember that it isn't reality.
Yeah.
But it does reflect reality. So definitely a good reminder. And my overall thoughts, I mean, my head is still spinning over this pregnancy. And I'm looking forward to the next episode to see kind of how this pregnancy comes out. How is Eddie going to deal with it? I mean, if Eddie's the father, I can't imagine if anyone else.
Not add more drama. I can't take it.
I know.
Who else would it be?
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
Just saying.
Sean?
But I'm interested to see how Katherine handles the pregnancy. And just my heart was really breaking for Katherine in this episode. And I know we'll talk more about that. But especially the scene when she's talking about Theo in the tree costume. It just really tore my heart out. Just getting a look inside of her feelings and where she feels like her place in this family dynamic is. So I'm excited to break all of that down with you ladies.
Well, I am as well. And let's just segue right into this first topic that I want to talk about, because it was a pretty present theme throughout the whole show tonight, this idea of the relationship between parents and children and parents and kids. We see Delilah obviously have the day off with Sophie, surprise day off, if you will, and sort of what that relationship ends up looking like. We see Rome changed by the potential idea of what it may be for him to become a parent. And then also we see a reflection of his parents and their relationship with Rome and his sort of vulnerable conversation with them. And then we also see Katherine and Eddie and Theo and their shifting family dynamic right now. But I really loved this. I really loved this day, this moment with Sophie and Delilah. It was obviously born out of controversy in that Sophie punched a girl at school. Which,
Yes, Sophie.
I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing after finding out what the other girl did.
It was really hurtful.
Oh man, like a punch is the least that girl would have suffered.
Amen. I know it's really bad to say, but in like those words that came out of that girl's mouth, how old are they? They're like 14, 15. Who put that in your head to say something like that? And it's way too soon to be saying that to somebody and a family is grieving like that. Yes, that girl would have been punched.
And social media. I mean, that just proves again within like, I don't know, sexting, cyberbullying, all the things that go down. The parents and teachers just don't really know until it's being brought forward. So I think that's a good thing they showcased in this episode as well.
It was, and the power of social media and the power of someone's words when are obviously something that need to be taken into consideration. The thing that I loved that they were sort of touching on, the writers were touching on, is the fact that I know that everybody kind of goes through their struggle in terms of when they go through a loss like this. And oftentimes that faith factor plays a big part, whether you're someone of faith or not, or different cultures have different beliefs and different religious beliefs have different, things that they believe. And what I really thought was, thoughtful of the writers in this particular moment was that as a 15-year-old, she's going to have those questions. She, it's one of those things where you do, it's only natural for her to wonder as a kid, where is my dad now? And what does that look like? Now, I'm not going to touch on sort of any sort of, I'm not going to throw gas on that fire, if you will. But I really thought that the way that they used that sort of controversial moment and these these really intense feelings that are coming up with Sophie to sort of bond her and Delilah in this moment was a really beautiful way, because she was saying, she even came out of school and she said, the one person who would understand how I would feel in this is Dad, because he took me to church, he explained this stuff to me, and now he's either a hypocrite or he's a liar or whatever. The one person that had the answers for me is now gone. And they used this sort of fractured moment to bring Sophie and Delilah a little bit closer together.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you guys think about that?
I think they really needed that day of bonding, because the two of them, especially after the last episode, it seemed like their relationship was so splintered. And, Sophie was so upset with her mom for kind of sweeping her dad under the rug and hiding all of the things that reminded her of him. And I think that this day was so important for the two of them to really sit back and talk about their feelings and have a little fun together too.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I mean, that was really needed, because it's been such a whirlwind since episode 1. And it's now like the 5th episode where we only see the first moment of mother and daughter really spending time together, like good quality time. And she gets punches out of it as well, which I love. I was like,
punches.
Sophie, wow. But yeah, I think it was great,
So I love the moment. However, do you guys think, because Sophie doesn't even know about Eddie yet, it'll definitely throw a wrench in that beautiful mother-daughter relationship? And actually, Brooks AG, shout out to you. You said it best. He asked the question, is Sophie's anger toward her mom going to be harsher when she finds out her mom cheated with Eddie, but also that she's pregnant by him, possibly?
Oh yeah, that's going to be a huge.
That's going to be another whole
that's the huge
blow-up.
controversy.
Elephant in the room, hey.
So it was hard to see. It wasn't hard, but I love that scene. However, just in the back of my mind, I'm like, she doesn't even know.
It's true. Also, when
The
she
real
went over,
truth.
yeah, when Sophie went over to want to play guitar with him, that was in the previous episode. Yeah, that's still to come out.
I'm a little nervous for that.
Me too.
Oi.
Didn't mean to put a wrench in it in the
No,
cute
no, no.
moment, but like, there's reality to this.
It is.
Absolutely, and that's what this is about, and it's the reality of the situation is that ultimately we find out, we think it's Regina's pregnancy test, and the guys get all pumped, and even Rome gets pumped, and then we find out, no, it's Delilah's. Okay, so we were talking about this. You guys all think it's Eddie's baby?
Yes.
I think it's Eddie's.
You think
It
it's
has
Yes.
to be.
To
It
keep that
has to be
storyline
Eddie's.
craziness going, yeah, I think it's Eddie's.
And it seems like the two of them were actually in love. So I can't imagine her all of a sudden jumping into bed with someone else. I think that Eddie is certainly the father.
But Laura, you did mention it could be John's.
I mean, hello?
Oh.
Hello?
Can you imagine?
Like the actual
forget
husband.
The actual husband?
Did we forget about him
I
already?
did not, that did not even cross my mind.
It didn't,
That it
but,
could
like,
be John.
to be honest, it
John,
didn't.
excuse me.
I don't
want
know.
I want
mean,
it to be Eddie's, just for drama purposes.
You want it to be Eddie's?
Yes.
Okay.
But for drama
won't-
purposes.
She won't
Either way,
know.
it's
She'll have
dramatic.
to get a paternity test because she won't know.
Yeah. Okay, here's
She might have an idea.
I think she has an idea.
yeah.
The
Well,
girl knows.
I mean, I think we're about to learn a lot about her and John's intimate life.
Yes.
Probably to get some hints, but I think to keep the drama going, I definitely think that question of is it Eddie's or is it John's is going to be a big one.
Didn't she say that that avenue of their marriage was kind of neglected though, so for a while, so which makes me further my opinion and think that it is Eddie's?
Yeah, but that avenue can be neglected, but it things happen in a marriage.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah,
No, yeah, that's true.
I mean, just because you're not getting it every day doesn't mean that it's non-existent. I don't know. I'm really curious to find out how they're gonna tie this all together.
it's exciting.
It really is.
It's a good development.
So, do we think that there's any chance that it is Eddie's, but she does not let anybody know, and she raises it as John's to her family, to her son and her
I
daughter?
just feel like at this point, because so much is being unraveled, that no more secrets should be kept. So if anything else comes to light, just bring it out.
Sometimes
Like,
it's not that easy, but I agree.
I know, but like they're all going through stuff, and it seems like they're having to be more open about it. And truthfully, as we all should in reality.
Or could it be the opposite of what you said? She says that it's John's, but it's really Eddie's, and she raises it as John's.
That's what I think.
could
That's what
happen.
I'm thinking.
I have a
she's
headache.
gonna
Or the
do.
opposite.
You think it's John's, but she's going to raise it as Eddie's?
Right.
Oh. Well, hey, I mean,
We'll have to
stranger
see.
things have happened.
Yeah.
Do we think that this is another reason why Delilah and Eddie may end up together? Could this fractured love story turn into an actual family?
I think there's still more healing that needs to be done.
That seems like a lot. That
Yeah.
seems like a real tangled web.
I think because of all the hurt they gave the inner circle, that I think it's kind of, I don't think their relationship is strong enough to handle that. Even though I actually want them to be together later, not right now though.
How do you think the guys are going to react, though? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
When the guys find out that it's Delilah's. Because right now, Rome is the only one that knows.
Oh, boy.
Right.
It's going to be a bigger blowout than the hockey scene.
I can't imagine. I don't want to see Gary find out that news.
I don't know. I just feel like at this point, because the affair's already been unraveled, and the bonding again, everybody, even though, they disagree, they have their disagreements. So I don't know if I agree with you. I feel like, I think in a relationship, they would be able to work at some point. Even like Theo, I think, would be accepting of Delilah as a mom if that was to happen, if Eddie and Delilah were to get together.
No, that's what I said. I said later, though.
Later,
not right now.
for sure.
Yeah, I said later.
That's true. You did say
yeah. Just not right now.
Just not, no.
Eventually.
In a film, it would
Eventually.
happen like straight up.
Like 30 minutes.
This is more reality. Yeah.
Well, time will tell, and we are definitely going to stick around to find out all the juicy details for Miss Delilah's journey.
She's getting hated on this chat.
She
Delilah is the
is.
worst. Delilah is not to be trusted. Delilah is my least favorite character. I just don't connect with her. Luann, Brooks, Garrett. Yeah.
Wow.
I agree.
And it is like what we were saying last week. I mean, she is kind of coming out of this whole situation, like looking a little bit.
I just really
egg
want to
on her
know,
face.
though, why their relationship didn't work out.
I
I
know.
feel like that's still something that needs to be unraveled as well.
I do too, and
There
I
are
feel
reasons.
like that's we talked about this a little bit last week, that where right now she's sort of being vilified in a big way, but there's a big piece of the puzzle that we don't know yet. Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with her and John's relationship. So
Right.
we will see how this all plays out, but they left us with a nice cliffhanger. So way to go, Million Things.
I think it's unfair to vilify Delilah and not vilify Eddie. He's just as guilty in this situation. So for all of, our fans out there who are saying that about Delilah, what about Eddie? I mean, he's in the wrong too.
I think it's
guys.
easy to look at a guy. I don't know, maybe this is like my girl perspective, but I think it's easy to like look at a guy and be like, "You scoundrel!" You know what I mean? I think
Shame
he's
on
kind
you.
of has the one that's like easy to take the brunt. But I think it's harder for people to once they sort of make the leap or the decision that they're angry at the woman, it's a little bit harder to come back from that sometimes.
Why?
I don't know.
Questions that need answers.
I know,
The
right?
two of them are equally guilty, so we should treat them as such.
Well,
Exactly.
it takes two to tango and make a baby. That's all I'm going to say. Let's talk about Rome. Let's talk about Rome for a second. He goes to see his parents, and we see a really lovely relationship with his dad and his mom. This all is kind of born out of the fact that he is now going to counseling, and his therapist, who is not Maggie, but another male therapist that, I don't know, I think I don't know how I feel about this therapist in general. But this person encourages him to look a little bit deeper into his family history to see if anybody has a history, if there's a history of depression in his family. And he does. He takes his advice and he goes to visit his parents, and he asked his dad, "Do you ever feel sad or do you ever feel down for more than a couple of days?" And his dad gave him, sort of the response that a lot of men of that generation give, which is feeling sad is a part of life. How do we feel about that advice towards Rome?
I just really dislike this whole facade that we put on sometimes. I mean, granted, as a father, he wants his son to remain strong and he wants to appear strong himself. But I do feel like if, you open up and show your vulnerability, you then understand yourself more and accept yourself as well, being like, actually, it's okay to feel this way. And it opens up so much more of a dialogue and communication between two people.
Well, some families aren't like that. Like you said about his family, we don't talk about that. And we don't talk about that in his family type of relationship. I think, I'm not going to say it's a male thing, but I think I'm also one of those people. I don't like to talk about things. I kind of hide it or put it somewhere else, and I'll deal with it kind of later. So I kind of understand it. It's not good. Like
I'm
you
the
were
same,
saying.
actually.
It's not good at all.
That's why I'm learning from this show.
Yeah, it's actually very therapeutic to let it out. So I also think Rome is itching, somehow trying to tell other people in his family about his suicide attempt too. Because right now, who knows? Only one person, right?
Just Eddie and
guys.
Gary.
Yeah,
just the guys.
Not even Regina.
Yeah, I think he's itching, trying to find ways to tell the people closest to him about that. And he's trying to find a way without like hurting them either. But he can't really talk about it because his family, he grew up with a family of like, oh, we don't talk about the emotional side.
And those habits really die hard. I mean, it's things that are ingrained in you as a child that really die hard, and it's challenging, I think, to let go of such a part of your life that feels like an old sweater that you put on every time you start to feel this way. It's like, oh, we just don't talk about that. We just don't talk about that.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful that his mom overheard this conversation, because she was able to give insight. And I think that she really recognized that he was struggling. And maybe it was her first time realizing that he does have, some depression and some struggles with that. And I think it was so great that what she said, I think, really resonated with him, because she said, make sure you take care of yourself, if not for you, for Regina. And she's so right, because, I think sometimes people who are depressed, they're in such a dark place that sometimes they're not able to look outside of themselves and see how it affects others.
Well, and I do love how with the mamas are good.
Mama
Mamas
knows.
are special. Mama knows. Mamas know. I mean, there really is. There's like my mom can look at me and just know exactly what is happening, and it's a little bit like, do you work for the FBI? Like,
Who are you really?
What's happening? But it's true. I mean, they really do know things. But what I love that she said to him was this idea of like letting himself be seen. And because I think that typically, and we've touched on this a little bit in the past, but we all sort of fall guilty. Moms do it. It's a huge issue, I think, a lot of the time, just as a human being, to take care of everybody around you before you take care of yourself. And that's why I love that she drove home the point of take care of yourself for Regina. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
right.
Don't take care of Regina, take care of yourself for Regina. And I thought that was really a great way to put it, because I think a light bulb kind of clicked off in his head where he was like, oh, like this sort of thing that I've been battling for a while, if I embrace it and address it, it will not only help me, it will help my entire family. And I thought that was a really cool moment that they got to have together. So, and he was really changed by the idea of possibly becoming a father, which he kind of did like this 180. He was like, we said no kids. I just quit my job. Oh my gosh. Like, and then the minute that you saw him wrap his head around the idea of possibly being a father, it was like something, it was like he was living for something bigger.
It was so sweet. And I think that that's because of Eddie.
Yeah.
And Eddie really got through to him when he was saying that, hey, my life sucks right now, but Theo is the best thing in my life. And he changed me forever. And it was I loved that moment. I think it was so great. And then also when Regina said that it wasn't hers, he looked genuinely like disappointed for like a half second.
Were you guys sad that it wasn't Rome's? I
was.
I was.
He was looking at those little baby hats was it the Bruins? Oh, so cute.
The cutest thing ever.
Maybe because I know Regina. I know we're not talking about Regina, but I know Regina would be an amazing mom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of looking at that side of it more so than Rome.
Yeah, I mean, I was also imagining them downsizing and raising a kid as they were.
I saw the family for like 2 seconds.
Yes.
Oh, I think we all did. We were all on board. And they would make beautiful babies. Let's be honest.
But do you guys think that maybe this would make them reconsider their no children rule?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
That what if factor could have sparked a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that can change. And, again, I'll throw my name or my story in the hat here for a second. But my husband and I were married for 9 years before we had our son.
Oh.
So, and like, if you had asked me on our wedding day, it was like, nope, never having kids. Like, we're just going to be the crazy aunt and uncle that they can come and like visit us in California and all of that. And I truly believed that for a long time. But when that shift happens and you see yourself embracing the idea of being a parent, there's no going back. And it's just the best. So highly recommend it for anybody out there considering it.
But what I just loved about this situation was actually seeing sort of the male perspective of when the news comes out. I feel like we get more often like the female perspective when they find out they're pregnant, but this is the male on their own, like the Tres Amigos, and I love that support structure there that was happening. And like you said, with Eddie and Theo and the whole imagination of Rome and Regina, it just brings another side to reality again.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be such a different response that we'll see from Delilah, when she sort of opens up to us about being pregnant. So it was nice to see this side of it being sort of the hopeful side of the pregnancy, because it's about to get real fast.
Luann Simon says having a baby would probably help Rome with his depression.
Aw.
I agree.
Although he started taking the pills then.
True.
He did.
That is true.
That shocked me.
He did. I did not see him jumping into the antidepressants that easily. I thought he would fight it a little bit more.
Yes,
I think he's desperate for relief.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's felt like he's fought enough.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's trying to, all right, like, what do I need to do to get these thoughts out of my head?
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Well, speaking of other, great parents and sort of this beautiful moment that we got to see of another family, we have Katherine and Eddie and Theo. And the whole time I was watching this family, I just was thinking mom guilt, because Katherine is like drowning in mom guilt, and I just want to like give her a hug. And for any working mom out there, like for any not working mom, for any mom in general, for parents, for single parents, I don't know, like just you're doing a great job, just so you know. But we see sort of their moment where Eddie steps up and stalls for her in a really big way so that she can make it to see her son be a tree in the play. And that was really, I thought, I saw that moment happen. I saw this reconciliation happen, and I thought there's hope for Eddie and Katherine. And then there's not. Katherine seems to have made her decision that she would like to, at least at this time, not be together. Do we think that this is a little bit of a premature decision? Do we see a reconciliation happening, or do we think this is the end of Katherine and Eddie?
It's definitely premature. I'm all about fighting. It's like, I don't think, yes, infidelity is huge. But look at the bigger picture. Look how much you guys have grown since then. Look at the journey you guys had. First of all, I love the fact that we're seeing more of Katherine.
I do too.
Because I have such the biggest change of heart for her, because in the beginning, I was like, I don't like her strong exterior. And I was waiting for these episodes for her to finally see, like, to show more of her emotion. And then she says things like, sometimes I feel like another tree in the forest, when she was talking to her son. I'm just like, I love you so much.
Go ahead.
It was so cute when she was so shocked by Eddie's movement of stalling. She's like, you did that for me? And that moment, that split moment there, I thought, okay, there's hope.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I do understand the anger, and I do understand, I know she's wrestling with a lot of emotions right now. He is too. You have to also, like, I can only imagine he's probably going through his own version of immense guilt that he has blown up his life and fractured his family, failed his wife, failed his son. Like, there's probably a lot going on with Eddie as well at the moment, but since we're on Katherine, let's chat about her. I think while she said, she was like, I don't think I should have to get past this. I don't think I should have to get past it. I don't know that you ever truly get over something like that. I think you just sort of learn a new normal, and you are the only one that can decide whether that new normal is something you can live with or not.
Yeah, I feel like they should at least try and go to couples therapy so they can talk about their feelings and what went wrong in their marriage in kind of a controlled, mediated environment where they can really air all the dirty laundry and just talk about how they got to that point. I feel like whether they split up or not, they should try that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was I just was so struck, again, you brought this up, Laura, by the moments in the courtroom. And it just really ripped my heart out for the working moms, because not only were we talking about Katherine, but the judge, she said, my daughter had a fever of 102 and I had to show up today. I had to. She had to leave her very sick child to be there at work. And it must be such a struggle. And I just really take my hat off to you working moms.
Yeah.
But you see how she figured out a way to get there, though.
That was so smart.
That was so
That was so clever.
Way to go.
Yes,
Way to go,
Katherine.
Get it, girl.
Seriously.
Like, if she's not gonna let me go, I'm gonna figure it out through this trial.
She's
love
like
it.
introducing new evidence that needed to be, looked at by the prosecuting, or no, she's the prosecuting, by the defense.
But yes.
Yeah.
She's a smart cookie, and we're going to see more of that, I'm sure, through the rest of this season. Before we chat about Gary and Maggie, because I really want to talk about them before we wrap it up, I think Miss Yasmine has a little message for you guys.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channels, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well as Spotify. And let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us to be the ESPN of TV talks.
So I just want you to talk and record my ringtone so that anytime my phone rings, it's your voice.
Exactly. I was telling her about her accent earlier, but just never stop talking.
We can make that happen. That'd be beautiful.
I'll be your voice note.
Perfect. Or just my guide for my directions.
That would be the best.
Anyway, we'll work on that. But let's jump into Gary and Maggie before we have to wrap up, guys. So obviously Gary plans this beautiful, elaborate day for Maggie to sort of coax out the fact that her cancer is back and to get her to divulge that information. She does, in a weird way, she finds out that Tom spilled the beans to Gary. And she makes the choice to not fight her cancer. I have so many thoughts about this, but my first question to you guys is that action? Obviously, she gets to choose, how she handles her treatment or not. She gets to choose how she handles her cancer. Is her keeping her relationship with Gary and choosing not to take treatment selfish on her part?
100%.
I think so.
100%. And then the fact that
I think you can't have your cake and eat it too.
You can't at all. And when he said, I really wish you hadn't met me, I'm so team Gary with that.
Well, he said that because she said that they went to John's funeral on the day she was supposed to start chemo.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was more so saying it just because, like, look, I met you and I fell in love with you, but now you want to die, pretty much. Oof. That's what I took from it.
That's what I took from it too.
And that's so, I feel for Gary so much just because you're literally watching, when they were playing basketball, like, she was pretty much kind of taking it as a joke. And you're watching someone she's pretty much watching taking Gary's feelings as a joke. Mm-hmm. You're watching someone give up and not fight. That's the most heartbreaking thing to watch. That's why I was saying, like, Gary and Maggie would probably make me the most emotional, because this man literally pulled out all of the Gary stops for Maggie since the beginning. And the one person that changes how he promiscuously used to be wants to just completely give up. And that's so depressing. You want to walk away from the person, but you love them so much that you can't. And he's like, it seems like he's caught in a rock and a hard place with that.
Yeah,
sure. Definitely.
And it's so heartbreaking.
But see, here's the thing. Maggie, she's such an intellectual woman, as we can tell, and sporty on top of that. Like, that was a shocker move with the basketball game. I honestly did not see that coming. But, like, you know, now back to the seriousness of the situation. The thing is, for her, she's not really committed to him. And I don't know if this is a selfish act, because we don't know how she had to battle through chemo before, and then the true nature and relationship between her and Tom. Like, what is there? What happened there? And so I just really question why she's making this choice. She has to have a very good reason.
It just seems to me like asking somebody to sort of be, I don't know, asking somebody that you're in a new relationship with to be okay with watching you die.
It's not okay.
It's not. I don't know if selfish is the right word. I just don't know that it's that she gets to have it both ways.
Right.
Because she's breaking Gary's heart. Gary's falling more and more in love with her as the day goes on. It's like a little. I mean, I don't know. What's that old movie with Mandy Moore, A Walk to Remember or something?
Yeah.
Like
Oh
when
my
you find out that this girl has like a terminal illness or whatever. Like, that's one thing. Like, I don't know. I mean, it just is one of those things where I was just like, I don't think you get to have both. I don't think that you get to have the support of Gary and the love of Gary, and you also get to say, I don't want to fight this. I think you either have to end it with Gary, and
I think it's going to end up being Gary's decision, because she has made her decision that she's not going to start a second round of treatment.
Yeah.
And she's just going to live her life to the fullest. She said, do I want a 30% chance of living or 100% chance of loving the time that I have left? So I feel like she's already hardcore made her decision. So now it's Gary that needs to decide, okay, do I want to have this amazing, meaningful relationship with this woman for maybe only a year or less? Or do I want to cut her out of my life? But now that Maggie is so wrapped up in that group of friends, it's not going to be that easy, because she's friends with the women in the group. She's, you know, really involved in all the drama that's going on. So I think that he's going to end up supporting her through her final days.
I also do think, though, at some point she might have a change of heart.
she may.
She
And
could.
I just hope it's not too late, is really what I hope. And we do see that Gary makes the decision at the end when he leaves the balloon and the grape soda, I'm in. He's understood. I think he fought her this entire episode of, you know, trying to get her to change her mind through the basketball game, through the fight, through the, you know, the breakup in the car. And he's letting her know, okay, come hell or high water, I'm there with you.
Yeah, he'd rather have her for a little bit than not at all.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see what happens with that, you guys. We're going to skip our special segment tonight, but we're going to include it in the comments below. So please let us know what the little thing that you took away from this episode was, because we want to know, and you can use the hashtag LittleThingsABTV to let us know. We're going to share ours with you as well as soon as we wrap the episode. as soon as we wrap the show. Quickly, let's jump into a little bit of news, which I know that you have. You have some news. Maggie has some news. Maggie has news. Maggie has news.
I do very quickly have a couple things, you guys. We have some very exciting news because ABC just ordered 3 more episodes of A Million Little Things. So we have a reason to celebrate. We're going to have a longer season than originally anticipated. And then one more thing we want to mention is that today is Unity Day 2018. And some of us on the panel are wearing orange. That's the official color of Unity Day. Unfortunately, I don't have any. Sorry. But anyway, the cast of A Million Little Things on social media, they're all wearing orange, holding up orange t-shirts to support those who experience bullying. So join us and A Million Little Things to unite for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. And just a reminder, if you are struggling with being bullied or having thoughts of suicide, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. And the number is 1-800-273-8255.
Perfect. We're going to put that in the comments as well, along with our predictions, because, guys, we love to hear your predictions, our predictions each and every week. We talked so much tonight that we got to wrap up a little bit without getting to do that.
Fast.
It did go so fast. But thank you guys for joining us on the conversation. Keep the comments going. Keep the conversation going in YouTube. And then find us all on social media. I'm Laura Thomas Sonn. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Laura Thomas Sonn.
I'm Maggie Clark. You can find me at Maggie Clark on camera on Instagram and at Maggie on camera on Twitter.
And I'm Yasmine Tanres. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Yasmine Tanres.
And I'm Tay Alexandria. You can find me everywhere at Tay Alexandria TV.
You guys are such a great 5th panel member, so let's keep the conversation going. We'll see you in the comments. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.